Yo, what's up YouTube? Dirty Dan Gaming coming back with another Rise of Kingdoms video. And today we are wrapping up our legendary commanders for your KVK Season 1. Now, there are quite a few other commanders that we have not covered here on the channel. Those are going to be your gold key commanders. However, I am working on a project to do an ultimate guide for your KVK Season 1. We're talking about pairings, we're talking about epic commanders, we're talking about what civilization to choose from. It's going to be the ultimate starter guide. This will probably be our biggest video to date, so I will sprinkle some of those gold key commanders in there. However, we are going to talk about the most accessible legendary commander that you can get in Rise of Kingdoms, and that is none other than Aethelflaed. Aethelflaed is a legendary commander that every single player in Rise of Kingdoms can get and can utilize. I know we usually talk about investments on commanders looking ahead of Season of Conquest. Luckily, there really isn't much of an investment here. This is a totally free commander that you will be getting from your expedition and the campaign over here. As you can see, you can accumulate medals from defeating levels in expedition, which will allow you to get up to 3 legendary sculptures of Aethelflaed a day. On top of that, as you hit these little checkpoints, I guess you can call them, these additional challenges, for completing these, you can see down here, oh, my name frame is blocking it a little bit. So let's see if we can adjust it for y'all. I don't think so. So you can see here that you can get a Treasure of the Warrior Queen, which is a chest that will reward you from 1 to 5 Aethelflaed sculptures. And you also have a chance of getting Universal Commander sculptures. And you can see over here that we do have some available. Let's go ahead and pop those and see if we can get a Universal Commander sculpture. I've heard 101, I've seen 101 work a lot, so that's what I roll with. Nothing. But you can see here that we get, you know, a fair amount of Aethelflaed sculptures. And a lot of silver keys that are totally useless. Thank you, Lilith. But this commander is going to be totally free for anyone to obtain, and she is still usable today. In Season of Conquest, we're about to be going into our KVK 5, and I will still be using Aethelflaed. There are many uses for Aethelflaed on the field. She is definitely one of the best commanders that you can have, and we'll just quickly go over her skills, and we'll probably dive into her talents a little bit and explain why she is one of those best commanders that you can have in your lineup. So, with her first skill, Arrow of Iron, this is going to deal damage up to 5 targets in a forward-facing fan-shaped area, damage factor of 800. This will reduce their attack, defense, and health by 30% for the next 2 seconds. So, direct damage factor, a little on the low side. However, a 30% debuff on attack, defense, and health is huge. I don't care if it's for 2 seconds. It's still huge. So this alone right here is what is going to make her super usable going all throughout your Rise of Kingdoms lifetime. And she's usable almost everywhere just because of this skill. Moving on, we have Thunderous Force. Troops led by this commander take 20% less counter attack damage. Their attacks have a 10% chance to inflict a slowdown on the target, reducing its cavalry units' march speed by 50% and other units' march speed by 30% for 3 seconds. The first part of this skill is amazing. Troops led by this commander take 20% less counter attack damage. This makes her a prime candidate for counter rallies. Because you have to remember, if you're launching a counter rally, the rally that you are countering is already going to be primarily hitting a garrison, which means that the secondary damage that is going to be coming onto you once you hit that rally is only going to be counterattack damage. So essentially 20% of the damage that that rally is dealing to you is wiped out. And we will talk about probably the best pairing that you can put with Aethelflaed as we move on. Next skill is going to be Synergy. This is going to give troops led by this commander are going to deal 35% increased damage to barbarians, and both commanders gain 35% increased experience. This is also a very nice skill to have in the very early games when you're trying to level up your commanders. It also makes her a very nice option for your Barbed Fort rallies. Next is going to be Fortress of Mercia. When this commander leads a rally attack, the rallied troops capacity is increased by 10%. When troops led by this commander consist of 3 or more different unit types, troops gain 20% increased attack. First part is really nice. Anytime you can bring more troops into the rally, that's always a good thing, because usually the garrison caps are usually set. So skills like this always give you a clear and decisive advantage when you can bring more troops. The second part of a mixed troop march, and we're going to be talking about mixed troop marches a lot in our ultimate guide that we're going to be putting together, because there are some epic commanders in there that are leadership. As you can see, she is a leadership commander, and we will be diving into mixed troop marches. This skill in the very beginning does not age well until we get a commander by the name of Trajan, who is also a leadership commander and wants mixed troops. He does have a skill specifically just for that, and the Trajan Aethelflaed combo is probably one of the better leadership open field combos that you can use in the late game. So you can see here that Aethelflaed is still holding her value and being usable in the open field with another commander that is going to be released in the future. I don't like the 20% attack too much, but in the early game, that's fine. And where you will find a lot of usability in this too in the early game is that you're simply not going to have as many troops as you're going to have in the future. You're going to get dwindled down to having to do a mixed troop march at some point, because you just don't have all the troops that you need. You haven't had the time to accumulate speed ups to train your armies in the direction that you want, whether it's full infantry or full cavalry, full archer. You catch my drift. So this is still a very good skill that maintains value. Lastly, her expertise is going to be Warrior Queen. This is a passive skill that deals 20% increased damage to enemy troops when they are affected by a slowdown. So you can see here that there is some synergy within her skills from Thunderous Force and Warrior Queen, because you are getting a chance to reduce the march speed and effectively slow down an enemy march. We're going to use this as a segue into her talent trees, where she can also get a boost on that damage. Over here for Cage of Thorns, if you go all the way up into the support tree, Cage of Thorns is going to be a buff after using an active skill, or I guess a debuff. After using an active skill, reduces march speed of nearby enemy troops by 10%. Duration is 3 seconds, maximum of 5 targets. Now, I'm pretty sure this is random. There isn't going to be a rhyme or reason to it. I will look into it and do some testing. However, you only need this first part to effectively slow down a march, and that's all you need for that 3 seconds to allow Warrior Queen to pop off. So you really want to utilize this if you are running Aethelflaed primary, so that way you can get that 20% damage bonus. And then as you can see over here, you always want to go for emergency protection for the skill damage reduction that you will be taking. You always want Rejuvenate. Support tree is the fastest rage regeneration, unless you are counting the skill tree and their feral nature, which is the maxed out skill tree for them, because it's giving you a 10% chance to regenerate 100 rage from an attack. And then over here, again, kind of holding that synergy through with quick active skill usage and the rage regeneration. After using a skill, increase troop defense by 20% for the next 2 seconds. Y'all know me. I love my defense. I love my health. Anything I can do to get those, I am going to chase those talents. I am going to chase those skills. And then over here, armed to the teeth. They're both armed to the teeth. I never noticed that. But these are going to give you buffs, both for when you your army contains 3 or more unit types, this one is going to give you 3% increased damage, and this one is going to give you 3% damage reduction. So again, anything that's giving you damage bonuses and that's giving you damage reduction is something that you should be chasing. So that is just a quick open field talent tree, and I'm pretty sure I was using her with Joan, and Joan gives you a little bit of heals. So that's why I had counterattack here, which will give her increased attack whenever she is healed. And then I don't have any peacekeeping builds put up, but you could opt to go for something like this. We'll just bang this out real quick. You always want Trophy Hunter whenever you're doing a peacekeeping commander. Always want this. Always opt for this. Actually, we'll go over here. If you're doing fort rallies with her, you want to get up to Mighty Force, which is going to give you increased damage from launching a rally. But for now, we can just go up to here if we're just doing for strictly barbarians. We can go up here. I wouldn't focus on the mixed troop aspects over here. I mean, in the early game, you can obviously go for those, but I just don't think that you really need to focus on that. There, that's what I would do for barbarian hunting. In the early game, yes, you can go for these 2 talents. However, as you get into the later game, you should have just standard full marches of a single troop type. Now, how are we going to use Aethelflaed? We've gone over her skills, we've gone over her talents. So what is the best way to use Aethelflaed? In my honest opinion, you want to hide Aethelflaed. She is a high priority target when it comes to the open field. Anytime anyone will see a debuffing march or a buff march, very much like Aethelflaed, very much like Mulan or Joan of Arc, those commanders are targeted down pretty quickly because of the benefits they're bringing to the battlefield and the enemy's alliance mates. So I always like to hide Aethelflaed within my marches, and I don't have any preset over here. However, we can run through them real quick. So I do tend to run Charles and Aethelflaed just because Charles is expertise and my Richard is not. However, if I did have a Richard expertise, I would probably opt for, and you can see some of my epic commander pairings over here. So a little sneak peek as to what I'm trying to put together for that KVK1 guide. You can run, again, you can run Charles Martel with Aethelflaed. You can run Richard, which I think is advised because you're going to get the slowdown from Richard if he is expertise, and is going to give you a 20% damage boost on Aethelflaed's active skill. For KVK1, you could also do, as an epic pairing, Baybars, since he is going to give you a slowdown over here. So that will immediately give you a 20% damage bonus. Now, if you don't have the options available and by chance you did decide to bring Aethelflaed up to level 60, which I actually don't advise. I think at level 40 she is fine until you have the surplus of stars and you want to make that call. I actually waited for my Aethelflaed. She wasn't level 60 until I think after KVK 2. Again, because I was using her as a secondary. I didn't want her out in the field because she's just such an easy target. However, you could run this combo for your KVK1 and run mixed troops. And then you could really kind of get flexible here and run something like a Scipio to make a little bit more tankiness. She's very versatile, guys. You can use her pretty much with anyone. You can use her with Sun Tzu. You're going to get all that additional AoE. You can use her with, who was I going to say right before I said CPO? You can use her with an Osman, because he's going to be giving you more troops that you can bring to the battlefield, all the way up to 236 with this, and just giving you extra damage. So she is super versatile in the field, guys. She is definitely a commander that ages well. And again, she's totally free to obtain. So if you're getting a commander for free and you're going to be able to expertise her for free, then yes, why not use her? She holds up value very well. And How does she hold that value? Very well going into the season of Conquest. Again, you're just going to have a lot more pairings that you're going to be able to run with her. But more specifically with Trajan, because you can see in his third skill that when troops led by this commander consist of 3 or more different unit types, they will deal additional direct damage to the current target. With the active skill, when the active skill is used, damage factor up to 300 and increased damage dealt to the target by up to 20% for 3 seconds. So you can see here that they are kind of supplementing her in the later game when Trajan comes out. So you can now have a bona fide mixed march for your open field pairings. And then another reason why she lasts so well into the later game is because of my man Saladin, and he will probably be the next commander that we start to talk about once we wrap up KVK 1. But just real quick, for Saladin over here, counter attack damage taken reduction by 20%. That is 40% altogether. Remember, passive skills stack. So when you are running a counter rally with Saladin Aethelflaed, you are effectively doing a decent amount of damage with a 1400 direct damage factor. You're going to be giving a slowdown, which is going to automatically trigger Warrior Queen, which is going to buff her small little 800 direct damage factor. You have the support tree, so you're firing off the skills like crazy, like you need to kind of keep those debuffs rolling. And you're also taking 40% less counterattack damage, effectively 40% less damage altogether, because that's all that rally is going to be dealing to you is the counterattack damage, unless there is AoE tied to it, like if it's a YSG rally, that won't help you there. But 40% counterattack damage reduction is ridiculous, and he does have something here that helps with skill damage taken reduction. So this is one of the best pairings that you can put into your lineups. I will still, especially in Ark of Osiris's, when I want to swarm down structures and I want to effectively debuff them, I am still constantly throwing Saladin and Aethelflaed together, and they just work so well in the late game. So Lilith did everyone a favor by giving us Aethelflaed. She holds that value super well. You don't have to invest anything into her really besides your gold stars, so just be cautious when you are doing that. I had suggested in one of my previous videos that Charles Martel should be the first commander that you bring to level 60, and I would definitely pair these two up in my first KVK if you're looking for that debuffing march. Again, she's very playful, she's very versatile. You can use her with almost any commander and you aren't going to be disappointed. So a little bit of a longer video, but that is just simply because Aethelflaed has so many good things working for her that I wanted to kind of cover a little bit more than what I have covered in the past with these commanders. So with that, we are going to wrap it up. Dirty Dan Gaming, I will catch y'all later. Everyone have a beautiful week. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the like button. And if you enjoy the content on the Dirty Dan Gaming channel, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel out a ton. We are actually going to be putting up a sub goal very soon. We have some cool things coming to the channel. We have KVK coming to the channel. Stay tuned later tonight. I will be doing a live stream because I want to do another push on an event for our Race Against Time. So I'll probably be jumping on at about maybe 22:30 UTC or 23 UTC, and just kind of using those chances right before reset so I can do 6 in a row. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So again, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing below, and if you guys want to talk about anything else on the channel, please leave a comment below and we will talk about that, because that's what we like doing here. Again, love y'all. Thank you for the support. I'm out. Peace.